Hi, this is Dwight with Unleash Billions, Luxury, Motivation, and Success. And welcome to part 6, where we will be going over some of the best wealth and success quotes of all time. Let's get into it. A man is rich whose income is larger than his expenses, and he is poor if his expenses are greater than his income. Jean de la Bruyere. Jars neither of wine nor of water shall fail in the houses of the rich. Aeschylus. Riches naturally gain a man a favorable reception in the world and give merit a double luster when a person is endowed with it, and supply its place in great measure when it is absent. 'Tis wonderful to observe what airs of superiority fools and knaves with large possessions give themselves above men of the greatest merit and poverty. Wellens Calcott. The rich man's happiness is but from the teeth outwards, a counterfeit satisfaction with the worm in his heart. Also, Wellens Calcott. Any man can become rich who is base enough to keep a brothel, a gin palace, or a gambling house. Charles William Day. There's a common misconception that wealth is a fixed pie, and that therefore for one person to have a lot of wealth requires somebody else to have less. The narrative often goes that wealthy people stole their wealth from poor and middle class people. But wealth can grow, so that even if someone's percentage of the pie remains the same, they will benefit from that individual slice getting bigger. Ian Tart. A rich man is one who isn't afraid to ask the salesperson to show him something cheaper. Jack Benny. Wealth is an engine that can be used for power. If you are an engineer, but to be tied to the flywheel of an engine is rather a misfortune. Elbert Hubbard. Let me tell you about the very rich. They are different from you and me. They possess and enjoy early, and it does something to them. Makes them soft where we are hard and cynical where we are trustful, in a way that, unless you were born rich, is very difficult to understand. They think deep in their hearts that they are better than we are because we had to discover the compensations and refuges of life for ourselves. Even when they enter deep into our world or sink below us, they still think that they are better than we are. They are different. F. Scott Fitzgerald. Wealth is a tool of freedom, but the pursuit of wealth is the way to slavery. Frank Herbert. The aspiration of wealth is deeply understandable. Getting a high income from a good job is all well and good, but because wealth begets more wealth, people are compensated simply for owning things. Wealth is potentially forever. It persists and spreads through families and dynasties. Wealth can and often does endure for generations. Steve Roth. Some people who have a lot of money like to show it off. They buy large houses, expensive cars, and all the toys you can imagine, but others keep their affluence on the down low. They don't look any different from anyone else, but they have some serious cash stashed away. These folks have what is known as stealth wealth. They are worth way more than they appear to be, and they often manage to retire early or follow their dreams in some other way that surprises the people around them. People who never realized they had that kind of money. Sarah Winfrey. Wealth builders stay motivated and inspire others to keep on keeping on. Ken Doghuji. When wealth walks in at the door, the press agent comes through the window. George Ade. Wealth is not his that has it, but his that enjoys it. Benjamin Franklin. There has always been a display of wealth and always will be until the depression comes, which it always does. And let me tell you, a display is a good thing. It shows people that you can be successful. It shows you a way of life. Donald Trump. As large trees are not the most productive, neither are wealthy men the most liberal. William Scott Downey. The most common way for people to give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Alice Walker. The trouble is, if you don't risk anything, you risk more. Erica Jong. Only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. Carol Burnett. People who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Robert Siltonen. One finds limits by pushing them. Herbert Simon. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does and keep going. Sam Levinson. Permanence, perseverance, and persistence in spite of all obstacles, discouragements, and impossibilities. It is this that in all things distinguishes the strong soul from the weak. Thomas Carlyle. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Charles R. Swindoll. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. I've never chased money. It has always been about what I can do to motivate and inspire. Tyler Perry. Success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than the day before. It all adds up. Dwayne Johnson. I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. Stephen Covey. It's not about perfect. It's about effort every single day. That's where transformation happens. That's how change occurs. Jillian Michaels. Don't carry your mistakes around with you. Instead, place them under your feet and use them as stepping stones to rise above them. I didn't get there by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it. Estee Lauder. I believe you can speak things into existence. Jay-Z. Challenges are gifts that force us to search for a new center of gravity. Don't fight them, just find a new way to stand. Oprah Winfrey. To be successful, you must accept all challenges that come your way. You can't just accept the ones you like. Mike Kafka. Power to me is the ability to make change in a positive way. Victoria Justice. Security is mostly a superstition. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Helen Keller. Work hard in silence. Let success be your noise. Frank Ocean. Success isn't about how much money you make. It's about the difference you make in people's lives. Michelle Obama. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. Life is hard, but so very beautiful. Abraham Lincoln. The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. Michelangelo. I am not judged by the number of times I fail, but by the number of times I succeed. Tom Hopkins. Why do we close our eyes when we pray, cry, kiss, or dream? Because the most beautiful things in life are not seen but felt by the heart. Denzel Washington. Power is not given to you. You have to take it. Beyonce. Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. Dwayne Johnson. With a new day comes strength and new thoughts. Eleanor Roosevelt. Leaders set high standards, refuse to tolerate mediocrity or poor performance. Brian Tracy. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. Nelson Mandela. Dream big and dream fierce. Viola Davis. Every failure is a lesson. If you are not willing to fail, you are not ready to succeed. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. Maya Angelou. Don't be afraid to give up the good for the great. John D. Rockefeller. Courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. Courage means you don't let fear stop you. We are all a little broken, but last time I checked, broken crayons still color the same. If you want to be successful, prepare to be doubted and tested. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. Jonathan Swift. We can do no great things, only small things with great love. Mother Teresa. There's no road to wealth so easy and respectable as that of matrimony. Anthony Trollope. Wealth in activity, capital with all its friction, is far safer than invested wealth lying dead. Henry Ward Beecher. Poor is the man who can boast of nothing more than gold. William Scott Downey. The use we make of our fortune determines its sufficiency. A little is enough if used wisely, and too much if expended foolishly. Christian Nestle Bovey. Wealth is useless on the day of wrath, but virtue saves from death. Titles, riches, and fine houses signify no more to the making of one man better than another, than the finer saddle to the making of the better horse. Wellens Callcott. Wealth, the most excellent of all gods. Aristophanes. It is doubtful if even experience of riches and success is as intense among those who have experienced nothing else as among those who have also experienced poverty and failure. There is little romance in wealth to those who have been born wealthy and to whose families have been wealthy for generations. Robert Wilson Lind. People with a scarcity mentality tend to see everything in terms of win-lose. There's only so much, and if someone else has it, that means there will be less for me. The more principle-centered we become, the more we develop an abundance mentality, the more we are genuinely happy for the successes, well-being, achievements, recognition, and good fortune of other people. We believe their success adds to, rather than detracts from, our lives. Stephen R. Covey. Do what you love and the money will follow. Marcia Senator. Do what you love and the money will follow. Marcia Senator. Money makes your life easier. If you're lucky to have it, you're lucky. Al Pacino. Money in itself won't make you happy, but money can buy you the freedom to do things that can make you happy. True happiness comes from filling your time and your days with meaningful pursuits that you're passionate about. Unknown author. When you can't have what you want, it's time to start wanting what you have. Kathleen A. Sutton. Riches cover a multitude of woes. Menander. That some should be rich shows that others may become rich, and hence is just encouragement to the industry and enterprise. Abraham Lincoln. Money alone sets all the world in motion. Publius Cyrus. Money is a strange thing. It ranks with love as our greatest source of joy and with death as our greatest source of anxiety. Joe Moore. Money is power, freedom, a cushion, the root of all evil, the sum of all blessings. Carl Sandburg. First secure an independent income, then practice virtue. Greek proverb. The want of goods is easily repaired, but the poverty of the soul is irreparable. Michel Iquem de Montaigne. Riches may enable us to confer favors, but to confer them with propriety and grace requires something that riches cannot give. Charles Caleb Colton. The golden opportunity you are seeking is in yourself. It is not in your environment. It is not in luck or chance or the help of others. It is in yourself alone. Orison Swett Marden. Every man is the architect of his own fortune. Sallust. To be healthy, wealthy, happy, and successful in any and all areas of your life, you need to be aware that you need to think healthy, wealthy, happy, and successful thoughts 24 hours a day and cancel all negative, destructive, fearful, and unhappy thoughts. These two types of thought cannot coexist if you want to share an abundance that surrounds us all. Sidney Madwood. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. P.T. Barnum. The real source of wealth and capital in this new era is not material things. It is the human mind, the human spirit, the human imagination, and our faith in the future. Steve Forbes. If we command our wealth, we shall be rich and free. If our wealth commands us, we are poor indeed. Edmund Burke. You cannot give without loving, but you cannot love without giving. Carmichael. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. Henry David Thoreau. Fortune sides with him who dares. Virgil. Money cannot buy peace of mind. It cannot heal ruptured relationships or build meaning into a life that has none. Richard M. DeVos. I'd like to live as a poor man with lots of money. Pablo Picasso. Wealth is not his that has it, but his that enjoys it. Benjamin Franklin. Fortune does not change people. It unmasks them. And Suzanne Necker. When you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. And Tony Robbins. I am grateful for the blessings of wealth, but it hasn't changed who I am. My feet are still on the ground. I'm just wearing better shoes. Oprah Winfrey. What you keep for yourself, you lose. What you give away, you keep forever. Axel Moth. If you've got $1 and you spend 29 cents on a loaf of bread, you've got 71 cents left. But if you've got 17 grand and you spend 29 cents on a loaf of bread, you still got 17 grand. There's a math lesson for you. Steve Martin. If you have much, give of your wealth. If you have little, give of your heart. Arabic proverb. Fortune sides with him who dares. Virgil. We have no more right to consume happiness without producing it than to consume wealth without producing it. George Bernard Shaw. I've never been in no situation where having money make it any worse. Clinton Jones. In the long run, we get no more than we have been willing to risk giving. Sheldon Kopp. Abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. Wayne Dyer. If you see yourself as prosperous, you will be. If you see yourself as continually hard up, that is exactly what you will be. Robert Collier. Find a job you like and you add 5 days to every week. H. Jackson Brown, Jr. Broke is a temporary condition. Poor is a state of mind. Sir Richard Francis Burton. The love of money is the root of all virtue. George Bernard Shaw. Prosperity is a great teacher, adversity a greater. William Hazlitt. Money was never a big motivation for me, except as a way to keep score. The real excitement is playing the game. Donald Trump. Money never starts an idea. It is always the idea that starts the money. Owen Laughlin. And the last quote for this video. My experience indicates that most people who've accumulated a great deal of wealth haven't had that as their goal at all. Wealth is only a byproduct, not the original motivation. Michael Milken. It was great having you here on Unleash Billions, Luxury, Motivation, and Success. Hopefully you'll join us again next time. Thank you.